In the realm of machine learning interpretability, understanding how people select explanations is crucial. Key criteria include abnormality, relevance, and simplicity. People prefer explanations that cite fewer causes and are uniquely sufficient. Explanations are also contrastive, meaning they are offered in relation to the cause of one event compared to another that did not occur. This is particularly relevant in machine learning, where people are interested in factors that need to change for a prediction to change. The proposed methodology employs subtractive counterfactual reasoning, a process of removing an event to understand its causal influence on an outcome. This approach decomposes input values to measure the effect of each input value on the model's prediction. By replacing feature values with undefined values, the model's prediction probabilities are observed, and feature importance is determined as the position of the probability relative to the max and min probabilities. The study also utilizes a prompting technique for traceable question answering with RAG, which integrates external knowledge sources to generate responses to user inquiries. This method mitigates the problem of hallucination and ensures factual consistency. The knowledge repository contains tabular information about model output, features, contrastive cases, and feature importance values obtained through the decomposition-based explanation method. This information is fed to the LLM model for response generation, resulting in traceable explanations grounded in the model's inner workings. The paper discusses a novel approach to traceable question answering, focusing on scene classification and categorization tasks. It uses the Google NetPlace's 365 model for scene recognition and the CamVid dataset for semantic urban scene understanding. The authors demonstrate their approach by leveraging semantic information in autonomous vehicle decision-making processes, particularly in unstructured off-road environments. They emphasize the importance of semantic segmentation in providing a nuanced understanding of the model's decision-making process, which can be helpful for post-incident forensic analysis. The authors also introduce a system prompt that instructs the language model to generate efficient responses to user queries, ensuring consistent and predictable outcomes. The paper presents an application example involving a visual scene understanding task, where the authors experiment with the Google NetPlace's 365 model and the CamVid dataset. They focus on semantic urban scene understanding, using the DeepLab v3 plus deep learning model trained on the CamVid dataset for semantic segmentation. The authors highlight the role of semantic information in autonomous vehicle decision-making processes, capturing the meaning and context of the physical surroundings observed in the road scene. This includes understanding the appearance of various elements such as buildings and roads, identifying shapes such as cars and pedestrians, and recognizing spatial relationships to contextualize the scene. The paper also discusses the evaluation results of their experiments, analyzing 9 distinct scene classes across different scenarios. They evaluate the responses generated by GPT 3.5 and GPT 4 models in terms of sociability, causality, selectiveness, and contrastiveness. In the context of autonomous driving, the AI model is designed to adapt to various scenarios and provide concise explanations within a 50-word limit using friendly language. The system identifies key causal connections and highlights abnormal values that significantly contribute to the prediction, explaining their relevance in driving scenarios. For instance, when the display panel shows residential neighborhood with a probability of 40%, the AI explains that this means we're on a road surrounded by features like driveways, sidewalks, trees, and cars, which are highly influential to this observation. If the environment looked more like a freeway with no sidewalks, the residential neighborhood would be less likely, drop to 20%. In contrast, it would increase the probability for highway alternative prediction to 13%. The AI also compares the most important features between residential neighborhood and highway, stating that both places have buildings and cars, but the sidewalks and trees are strong clues for a neighborhood. In examining the sociability within the responses, the overall tone of the responses is predominantly positive, as indicated by the Valence-Aware Dictionary and Sentiment Reasoner, VADR. Sentiment scores for each response are aggregated to delineate overall sentiment trends, showing a noticeable positive trendline by both models. Moreover, the analysis of social cues and causality in the responses generated by GPT 3.5 and GPT 4 reveals a nuanced understanding of conversational maxims and the ability to express complex relationships. In terms of social cues, both models effectively utilize terms such as absolutely, sorry, further, curious, questions, help, feel, and free across different phases of the dialogue, with a higher frequency observed in closing statements. This is attributed to the brief nature of these statements, encapsulating most social cue terms. Additionally, both models adequately and appropriately applied part of speech, pause, pronouns, which are essential social interaction markers. In expressing causality, GPT-4 demonstrated a higher frequency of causality terms and greater diversity in expression compared to GPT 3.5. Key terms like because, if, then, albeit, do, contribute, influence, affect, impact, and effect were identified, with if emerging as the most frequent term used by both models for expressing counterfactual reasoning. The qualitative review also revealed two primary grammatical structures suggesting cause-effect relationships within the text, involving the presence or absence of certain features influencing the likelihood of specific scenarios and a cause-effect relationship between feature importance and probability. Furthermore, the evaluation of selectiveness in the model's responses indicates their ability to detect unusual values within the provided knowledge repository, infer potential causes from those observations, and select the most relevant ones to construct an explanation. The analysis involved examining responses across the number of causes given, graded selection, and sort order to assess whether expected causes were addressed correctly. Overall, the findings suggest that both models are capable of generating responses that demonstrate a sophisticated understanding of social cues and causality, albeit with varying degrees of proficiency. The research paper presents a comparative analysis of two language models, GPT 3.5 and GPT 4, in terms of their ability to generate explanations for their predictions. The authors assess the model's performance based on selectivity, simplicity, and contrastiveness. GPT-4 outperforms GPT 3.5 with a higher success rate in identifying the most relevant causes from a set of possible causes, and it generates simpler responses across all three assessed metrics: term frequency of technical jargon, response length, and the number of causes cited. Additionally, GPT-4 employs a wider array of contrastive terms than GPT 3.5 in its responses, making its explanations more informative and user-friendly. This study contributes to advancing post-hoc explainability by proposing a traceable question-answering approach. By integrating LLMs with the decomposition-based explainability technique, we generate natural language explanations in an interactive format. The proposed approach promotes transparency and interpretability in scene understanding tasks by fusing LLMs with semantic feature importance. The study also discusses limitations, assumptions, and future work, including the overuse of social cues by LLMs, the need for human subject studies, and the potential for further expansion with additional observations. The paper concludes by highlighting the potential of the proposed approach for various domains and emphasizing the need for further exploration and improvement in areas such as dialogue management, multimodal explanations, and feature importance estimation. The paper emphasizes the importance of explainability in artificial intelligence, particularly in large language models and their applications. It highlights the need for conversational processes and causal explanation, as well as the role of social cues in human-computer interaction. A comprehensive review of various methods and metrics used for machine learning interpretability is provided, including contrastive explanation, perturbation-based methods, and visual explanations. The concept of retrieval-augmented generation for large language models is explored, which involves using external knowledge sources to enhance the generation capabilities of these models. This is achieved through a survey of recent studies on this topic. Deep learning techniques in computer vision tasks such as object detection, semantic segmentation, and scene recognition are also discussed. Specific algorithms and datasets that have been employed in these areas are mentioned, including the Places dataset for scene recognition and encoder-decoder models with atlas-separable convolution for semantic image segmentation. Finally, the paper briefly discusses the application of machine learning in autonomous driving, highlighting the importance of real-time object detection and semantic segmentation for safety in human-robot collaboration. Overall, the paper provides a broad overview of current research trends in explainable AI, large language models, and computer vision, emphasizing the significance of interpretability and transparency in these fields.